Speaking of thievery, I think these electric vehicle mandates and the electric vehicle subsidies going to these Ontario and Quebec based auto manufacturers, it's downright thievery from the Canadian taxpayer who will never, even if they wanted these bizarre electric cars that don't really work in our climate, they couldn't afford them anyway. And yet they're forced to subsidize them to companies that are going broke, not just in Canada, but around the world.
Yeah.
And Doug Ford, on one side, he's happy to take the subsidies into his province, but then he's sort of missing the boat on the fact that if we move to entirely electric vehicles, we can't power them.
I know. I know. There's so much here, and I'll go over it quickly. Super nice to hear the Ontario Premier Doug Ford say that he's against a mandate. That was something. But the issue here is that he said he was against the so-called electric vehicle mandate coming from the feds. But in the next breath, he's like, oh, but we should still keep spending. He said the word investing. Anytime a politician or government bureaucrat says investing, hold on to your wallet.
You know what? It's funny because I think Mark Carney one time said we're going to stop spending and start investing. And I'm like, those are the same thing.
I have a simple rule. Spend less, invest more. Let's say you buy a home. The down payment and the mortgage cost a lot up front, but your home builds value over time. That's an investment. Now you still have other bills like heat and electricity. You need them, but they don't make you better off in the long run. Those are operational expenses. I will balance our operational budget in 3 years. We'll spend what we need to with the money we already have. And we'll do things that encourage the big investments that create jobs and grow our economy, like building millions of homes, making Canada a clean energy superpower, and creating new trade routes so we're not dependent on the United States. Spend less, invest more.
It's the same thing. It's the same picture. I know. Right. It's so crazy. And so this is what he's saying. And I heard the clip the other day and I was just like, what are you talking about, man? So he's going both ways on this. So we're trying to urge him to go in one direction. And that is this. Get rid of the mandates, meaning let people choose what kind of vehicle they want to purchase, get government out of the way, and scrap the funding. Stop handing out corporate welfare, taxpayers' money to massive international mega rich corporations. This is not hard. Also, he said, I'm in favor of the market. No, you're not. Not if you're putting a humongous subsidy thumb on the scale, using taxpayers' money to pretend you're an investment banker. That is not the market. So what the market is, of course, is if, Sally wants to purchase a battery-powered vehicle for whatever reason she chooses, that's up to her. She goes and buys one with her own money.
Right.
End of story. Supply and demand works. It's a beautiful thing. But what the governments are doing, both in Ottawa and Toronto, is one, trying to force people to purchase a certain type of vehicle, in this case, a battery-powered vehicle, and two, spend taxpayers' money doing it. And it is in the billions of dollars, Sheila. And very quickly, to your point exactly on the energy, the federal government itself has already done studies on this, or at least contracted out studies. It's going to cost close to $300 billion to switch over to battery-powered vehicles. We do not have the dough for this.
We don't have the dough. We don't have the electricity. This is how we get rolling brownouts. And the side story in all of this, if we go on a little side quest, is the propping up of the electric vehicle market and the 100% tariffs on the electric vehicles coming in from China to protect the heavily subsidized electric vehicle industry here in Canada have resulted in tariffs on Canadian canola. So Western farmers are paying the price for all of Doug Ford's panhandling to the feds.
Yes. And in the meantime, we are busy ignoring the fact that our largest trading partner, with whom we have a very special, specific, integrated auto manufacturing market, I think they did an estimate, one part, for example, can cross that Windsor Bridge for a vehicle, maybe 8 times before it's finally finished into one vehicle. Of course, going between Windsor and Detroit, right? As my grandmother used to, pronounce it. So that is totally integrated. And the United States is 10 times bigger than us. It's a humongous economy compared to us. So you start doing supply and demand economics over there, And we're just going to whistle and pretend that that doesn't affect the fact that we have this mandate that they're going to ban the sale of normal gasoline and diesel powered vehicles by 2035. The restrictions start in 5 months, folks. In 5 months, your local auto dealership will need to sell 20% of their sales must be wholly electric cars. If they don't make that quota, tough beans for them. They get a whole bunch of penalties. And if they don't want penalties, they have to buy into this crazy like credit scheme going on with the feds. Like this has got boondoggle written all over it. Like they really, this is one thing, Sheila, if I could beg them to do one thing before they come back into session, it's to have the actual grown adults get together and say, we need to pull the pin on this. Yeah. All of it. We just need to rip off the Band-Aid. Nothing to see here. They can pretend they never met any of these silly ideas so they can start fresh when the House comes back.
Yeah, and I think we should be wary of what comes next. So if Canadians are not buying these electric vehicles and they have a mandate to meet by 2035, what's the next step to force us into that? Probably limiting the parts that we receive to replace our good old reliable combustion engines. I think that's the next step to just sort of shoehorn Canadians into this. Now,
I'm
Kris,
hearing, very quickly, I'm hearing all sorts of things about border restrictions and stuff too. So people thinking they can just cross over and bring it back, they're going to be up in your grill in 2 seconds. Oh. So yeah.
It's a nightmare. Before I let you go, because I'm up against the clock.
Sorry, Sheila.
No, that's okay. Tell us, it's my fault too. Tell us about the Alberta Next panel and what you would like to see there.
Yeah, for sure. So very quickly, Alberta is wonderful for grassroots direct democracy, and kudos to Premier Danielle Smith. And I would say the same thing. I don't care what party they're representing. Yep. Kudos to Premier Danielle Smith for going in there and doing big old town halls across Alberta. It's called Alberta Next. It's coming to Southern Alberta later on in August. So just Google Alberta Next panel if you want to speak up to the Premier and say what you want to see. What we would like to see, if we were there, would be this. Have much smaller government. We can do with way smaller government here in Alberta, stand up to those big government union bosses and reduce spending, because we love Alberta. We think Premier Smith is doing a great job standing up to Ottawa. But unfortunately, the ugly truth is our debt is still going up, not down. And that is because we are still spending too much. So let's this help me help you Jerry Maguire situation. It would be directly telling the Premier and the government, you must pay down the debt, make it go down and have smaller government.
And how do people get involved in the Canadian Taxpayers Federation army of the little people?
And that is what we are. We fight everything from the ban on gasoline and diesel powered vehicles to what we used to be known as the consumer carbon tax. Thanks so much. And it's because of tax fighters like all of you. Go to taxpayer.com, find the petition that speaks to your heart, sign up, and now you're on the army sign up list. Next time it's time to swamp a politician's email box or wear a chicken suit in front of their office and shame them into action, you're up.
Yep. Or dress like a pig and hand out awards, you know?
Funnest thing.
The funnest thing.